Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that the future of the Star Wars universe seems to be quite expansive, not just with their books, novels, comics, and video games, but also, let's not forget about the new Star Wars TV shows, their new Star Wars movies that are currently in the works, as well as all of the new projects such as the books, the novels, and the comics. That's really going to iterate, of course, with all of the new Star Wars material. This is mcgreghor. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you also very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, we are currently in a very intriguing time of the franchise, given that there is a lot of things happening at the same exact time between, of course, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, George Lucas, Deborah Chow, and other creators as well coming on board to really lend credit to the new Star Wars universe at hand. Now, given that there are a lot of things really happening, between Pedro Pascal and, of course, Disney CEO Bob Chapek and the higher-ups over at Disney, which we'll be getting into a little bit more about that in just a couple of seconds, one particular TV show that a lot of fans are very excited for is without a doubt the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV show that is all set and ready to drop by May 27th with 2 chapters on the very first day. So keep that in mind that is a Disney marketing plan. They want to make sure that they can get 2 episodes out in one shot and leaving open for the remaining 4 chapters, given that it's going to be a 6-part series. However, Chapek is now actually making it happen to become a 3-season TV show and turning Kenobi into a multi-season show. So on top of all of this, what's really intriguing has a lot to do with exactly what Bob Chapek is going through with Pedro Pascal, and exactly what's going on with the whole entire Karl Urban situation. Now, on top of all of this, what's even all the more intriguing is that the Ahsoka series is now filming between both actors Rosario Dawson and Hayden Christensen and others that will enhance the story by Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. However, as of now, Disney CEO Bob Chapek has been making key changes behind the scenes over at Lucasfilm. However, recently actor Pedro Pascal got involved in an interview about his latest movie and eventually was questioned about what Star Wars fans are actually going through. Pedro Pascal goes on to state, "When I see all of these franchises, there is no franchise that is like Star Wars, especially the community. It is by far one of the most sensitive communities that has an impact on the creators. Whenever something goes wrong with the story or the direction of a film or a TV show, all I can say is that it's all on the fans. It's all rooted to the fans. They are the ones that put pressure on the writers and the directors because they want some kind of superheroes or something in Star Wars, which I don't even know and I never understood." Now let me just stop right here for 1 second. Now, Pedro Pascal is essentially saying that Star Wars fans are asking for these movies and these TV shows to essentially be about superheroes, and that is the complete opposite. This kind of reminds me of what Rian Johnson said about The Last Jedi, of how a lot of fans were demanding him to make Luke very powerful with all these different powers, and he said that the job was to not make Luke Skywalker into a superhero. Where at the end of the day, fans would have just liked to see something cool on screen, like maybe deflecting a blast from an AT-AT or anything like that and destroying it or taking one down. Just something as simple as that is what fans were asking for, something that was already embedded in Star Wars Legends or the existing Star Wars canon material. Now, on top of all of that, moving on, it's a motive of some kind, he says, by fans, to cast blame on the creators, and they seem to have an obsession with doing that. I really do believe that if it weren't for the fans being so loud and opinionated, that Star Wars would probably improve for the better, so it's probably a good idea to keep opinions to themselves. That's all I can really say about that. Creators are not the problem, it's the pressure from fans. Now, additionally, separate from all of this and what Pedro Pascal had to say, Pedro stated, of course, on top of all of that it is, of course, all rooted to the fans and their problem. However, everything related to the Karl Urban recast for the Bo-Katan series, actor Karl Urban is set to get a special scene as Din Djarin, where he will have his mask off for 2 important scenes that are going to be crucial to the development of the Din Djarin character and his backstory. Now, Karl Urban has already been in multiple conversations with Jon and Dave Filoni about the series, and that Jon and Dave will be making Din Djarin Force sensitive in the Star Wars TV show and for The Mandalorian Season 4 as well. Now, on top of all of that, the plan, alright, to actually get things moving and the plan to make Din Djarin Force sensitive for the first time, starting off with the Bo-Katan series, has a lot to do with the story of Tar Vizsla. Essentially, John and Dave are planning to make Din Djarin the modern version of Tar Vizsla. Now, let me just stop right here for a second quick. I don't know about you guys, but I think that this is going to create a little bit of a stir between some of the fans. I think that some fans out there are going to believe that Din Djarin becoming Force sensitive makes absolutely no sense. Then you're going to have fans that actually really love the idea, like myself. I think that this is a fantastic idea to kind of give us a modern version of Tar Vizsla. And you can see when you look at everything in the Book of Boba Fett, you know, you can see that they were dropping breadcrumbs where they actually had the armorer mention and talk about Tar Vizsla. It's almost like that they were teasing things of what's to happen in the next couple of shows. Moving on from that, Pedro Pascal is described to be very angry over the fact that Disney surprisingly gave Karl Urban more screen time for the Bo-Katan series after he was fired from the show for creating problems with the development of the series and not agreeing to keep the helmet on for the majority of the show. Pascal actually wanted to have the helmet on for the helmet off rather for the majority of the show. However, Pascal actually wanted to have the helmet off for 80% specifically of the screen time that he has in the Bo-Katan series. Given that Karl is agreeing to Disney's demands, they've recently rewarded him with more scenes in the Bo-Katan series. So that's the thing about Karl Urban, is that this guy is listening to what Disney is asking him to do in the Bo-Katan show and what they have planned for the overall script of the series, and once they plan on dropping it and releasing it by 2024 or at the very latest 2025, but it's still looking like 24 at this point. So the thing about Pedro Pascal blaming the fandom, alright, let's get on that because this is very important, is that obviously, you know, he's sticking with his guns on that overall take on this, on the franchise and on the community, that it's all the fans' problem. You know, it's all about the fans having an issue with the creators. That's his take on things, no matter what. Meanwhile, at the end of the day, I think that Dave and John listened to the fans correctly. They weren't necessarily listening to everybody, but they were listening to the fans that wanted common sense in the Star Wars world. And that's exactly what we got. You know, that's what we got in The Mandalorian Season 2 and the Book of Boba Fett, you know, when it came to some of the fan servicey moments I'm adding, you know. That's what I'm explaining here, is that they paid attention to some of the fan service requests that they wanted that would actually have some story element to it that would make a lot of sense. They didn't just throw in Luke in The Mandalorian Season 2 just for the sake of it. They really did it because, number one, they felt that it was proper for the story. Number two, they knew that fans wanted Luke, the Luke that they wanted and deserved for so many years, without a doubt. So, like I say, I mean, let me know what you guys have to say about this entire scenario between Karl Urban and Pedro Pascal, and Pedro Pascal's take on the Star Wars fans. Let me know what you guys think about all of that below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon.